often ourselves do lie, which we ascribe to heaven. The fated sky gives us free scope, only doth backward pull our slow design, that we ourselves are dull. What power is it which melts thy love so high, then makes me see and cannot feed mine eye? The mightiest face in fortune nature brings, to join like likes and kiss like native things. Once you stop trying to make sense of it, it's really quite pretty. It makes one wonder if understanding isn't the slightest bit overrated.
Alice, are you in here?
Yes, reading in the parlor, Father. All's well that ends well.
Oh, good, since you're finished.
No, but I'm just in Act 1.
Then how do you know that it ends well?
No, it's... I'm feeling optimistic.
Well, your mother has noticed that you've been gaining quite a lot of interest from Prince Leopold. And she thought we should discuss it. Is this true? Has the prince been showing you interest lately?
He talks with me, if that's what you mean. Most young men just pause for encouragement as they go on making asses of themselves. But he actually listens to what I have to say.
That is interest, Alice.
Oh, I had hoped it was human decency. How awfully disappointing.
Do be serious. This could be quite a profitable situation if played correctly.
Leo is a person, Father, not a croquet ball.
He is not a person, he is royalty. And as such offers a unique opportunity for advancements. If you find him an appropriate suitor.
He comes to me to get away from all of that. All of those scheming daughters angry for a match. He can be himself with me, and I with him. That is why we talk.
Exactly. He seeks you out over them, which means...
Oh, why does it have to mean something? Why can't it just be what it is?
What is it if not a tremendous opportunity? Well, do you want to stay at Oxford forever?
Of course not.
You've been of marriageable age for much longer as they considered prudent. And the opportunities that he can provide you as a husband...
But if I use our friendship to...
Boys and girls have friendships, Alice. You are a woman now, and it's time to face that fact.
If you do that, it'll merely turn and run. Facts are such cowardly things.
No, not here.
Then when you were 21 years old, Alice, the time for childish fancies has long since passed.
Oh, for him, perhaps, but they are waiting for you in Wonderland right now.
Being an adult means accepting responsibility.
Shall we go?
That is not what I need right now.
I beg to differ.
Then why am I here?
How should I know?
What do the scriptures say? When I was a child, I acted like a child, thought like a child.
That's a different picture.
Now that I am a man, I must put childish things aside.
Well, it's easy for men. With women, the dollhouses just get bigger.
So you're not interested in having a serious conversation?
Oh, in that case, I'm interested. Please.
We shall discuss more on this later.
Father, wait, I'm sorry. I've just been distracted of late. I'll look for the prince's interest if you wish me to.
All I wish is for you to understand this is an important time. Your decisions bear more weight. Think on that.
I will, Father.
I have some affairs to attend to before the professor arrives here on college business. If he arrives, can you entertain me?
Of course. Only don't be too long. The air is dry enough in here as it is without the professor's conversation in it. Who is it this time?
The Reverend Dawson.
Lewis, this is all you're doing, isn't it? Go on and get it. I've barely seen or heard from Lewis Carroll in the last 10 years, and now, right out of the blue?
Oh, you mean that gay chap who thinks he created us?
Oh, he's your creator, not mine. I existed a full 10 years before he made up that story for me.
Oh, and I suppose you believe you're the only one.
Well, I assumed.
Oh, assumptions are much like mushrooms. They pop up overnight, and most of them are poisonous.
And do you feel trapped too?
Trapped.
Wonderland is like a dream I've grown much too large for, and there's not a bottle to drink that can shrink me back down to fit it. I want to travel the world or have a scandalous love affair. But if I break the spell of Wonderland, just to be stuck here in Oxford forever, I think I go mad.
Well, I thought you already were.
Is there a way to let go of your world without surrendering to all the demands of this one? Because I don't think I can be what it wants me to be. That's him. Tell me you brought him here. Tell me he has a solution. Well, if you're not going to be of any help, then you can just go away.
Might as well. You'll be back to see me soon enough.
Oh, no, because I'll show him that I'm not a child anymore, that I can grasp the deeper truths, and he'll give me the answer.
I beg your pardon. I thought this was the little residence, and I see now it is the hall of astonishing coincidences. Unfortunate mistake, wouldn't you say, Alice?
I believe the proper thing to say is, how do you do, Reverend Dodson? Won't you come in?
Ah, yes, thank you, Miss Little. I believe your father is expecting me.
Yes, he'll be down in a moment.
How pleasant to see you again, after so long.
It has been a significant length of time.
Since I presented you with a new volume, was it?
2 Christmases ago.
Then I have not had the opportunity to ask your opinion.
Well, it was fine reading. For children, I suppose. But I've grown much too old for that sort of thing.
Yes, I see.
Besides, it didn't feel like me anymore. Alice, I mean. Not that she ever looked like me with all that blonde hair and such. But the story that you told for me, and you only wrote it down because I kept pestering you about it.
Yes.
Wonderland felt like my place. This looking glass world felt like someone else's.
I suppose it is.
At any rate, I've gone on to more important readings. Shakespeare, the classics.
All's well that ends well.
I've started alphabetically. A scientific approach is best, don't you think?
In most things. But I do confess I find this play rather dreary. An intelligent woman goes to a great deal of trouble for a man that does not deserve her.
Well, if my mother has no way, it will be a role I'll be well acquainted with quite soon. Might as well study in preparation.
Let us hope then that your experience lives up to the play's title. You might try a hand at the Tempest, a wizard and his daughter on an enchanted
I
island.
am 21 years old, Reverend. Do you think I'm only interested in fairy stories?
No, of course not. Really personal favorite.
Well, one cannot go on escaping into fantasy all one's life, can one? I'm a grown woman now, and doesn't that mean accepting responsibility and marrying sensibly and all that?
I have very little experience in such things, I'm afraid.
Haven't you any sisters?
I sometimes feel as though I've had little else.
What did they do when they became of age?
They mostly became saints and oracles. I vaguely recall one of them getting married, but I can't be certain.
Back to fantasy.
Are we?
Alice, has the Reverend arrived?
Yes, Father?
Send him up, I'm ready for him now.
Well then, it was very kind of you to keep me entertained, Miss Little.
Reverend, suppose I was one of those plentiful sisters of yours. Would you have any brotherly advice for me?
Don't wait to read the Tempest in alphabetical order, it's too good a story. Besides, I did not read the Pericles first, and no one wants that. It was good to see you again, Alice.
Poor Alice. It was as much as she could do, lying down on one side, to look into the garden with one eye. But it was as hopeless as ever to get through. She sat down and began to cry again. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, said Alice. A great girl like you to go and cry this way. Stop this madness, I tell you. But she went on all the same, shedding gallons of tears until there was a large pool surrounding her and reaching half down the hall.
God, but remember, hopes we have more!
Not that I love more than myself!
reckon nothing but in care of thee.
Back in Wonderland and short dresses. Oh, and my petticoat is so right through. I suppose there's nothing better to do than to have some tea. No room! No room! There's plenty of room! There's some wine. There's never any wine. Only tea. Remarkably good tea, I must admit. Why must you admit that? I didn't ask you to.
No one is forcing you that I can see.
You can't see anything with your eyes closed.
I can see it's dark.
Touche.
Or not touche. That is the question. Whether 'tis nobler of the mind to snore loudly like so.
What was the question again? I missed it.
How is a hawk like a handsaw?
Ugh, I don't want any more riddles, not today.
Was that right? I was just curious.
So was I, and look where it's gotten me. Stuck in time with the rest of you. Oh, we're stuck without time, actually.
Never particularly liked tea. Cup after cup, week after week, month after month, year after year. It's maddening, I tell you.
But we were already mad.
Oh, yeah. Well, then it's sane. How about that? Can you imagine drinking nothing but tea while being perfectly, vividly sane? That same leafy taste crudely masked with sugar penetrating your perfectly unclouded mind. Taste, the taste, it haunts my dreams.
Silly, I've been leaving the tea bags out and just drinking water the last few go-arounds.
Come on! You'll take your lumps like the rest of us, and you'll like it.
Excellent sugar, by the way.
Thank you. I only my best.
Oh, it shows, but carry on.
Oh, right. Don't look at me. He ate them all.
Well, we ran out of biscuits. He's back.
How would you know if you paid attention?
Wait, are you here to forgive us?
That's time. Let's have to drop the tea. Don't you recognize him? No wonder he hasn't been kind to you. What?
We're so terribly sorry. We've been going around this table for so long.
Without a moment to wash up, it's getting downright unsanitary.
Terry, a little, there is something else. This bottle here doth give thee no jot of blood.
What do you say? No harm done. They say that you heal all wounds, so no one's hurt. Let bygones be bygones. No! Don't go! Come back. Stay just 1 minute more. Cursed time. Never waiting for no man.
Do you see him here often?
Only on occasion, and then he'll skulking off again.
Why haven't I seen him here before? You just keep missing his sneering days is all.
Ah! What day is it?
The 21st, I believe.
It's 2.5 days slow now. It's getting worse.
Okay, try some more butter.
The butter just gums up the worst.
Okay, how about the preserves? The water's getting slower.
We tried that all.
And he suddenly appeared inside of his operations. Maybe this isn't the same old story as before. Story?
Well, that's an excellent idea. Why don't you tell us one?
There's only one story on my mind, but it doesn't have an ending yet.
Well, then wake up the dormouse. She knows lots of them.
I heard everything I was awake. I heard everything you fellows were saying.
Well, then tell us a story about the treacle. Be quick before you fall asleep again.
How does it go? Oh, for a muse of a treacle that would ascend the brightest heaven.
No, not that one.
Two treacles, both alike and house.
I know what this is. You've been absorbing classic text through osmosis again.
Honestly, if we've told you once, we've told you 1,000 times.
1,000 times the worst, the ones I like.
The complete works of William Shakespeare. Don't wait to read the Tempest in alphabetical order. That was his advice. Whose advice? Louis' care. Times. I thought it meant he had I had just forgotten the language.
What is she going on about?
Words. It was really hard for him to talk to anyone, so he made up games for them instead. For a few moments, everyone tried their very hardest to think like he did and enjoyed themselves immensely. Of course, he couldn't tell me directly. He had to make up one last game for me to puzzle out.
A puzzle?
Oh, a game?
Something to do besides drink tea.
Inside the play, there may be a secret message. All we have to do is act it out and figure out the meaning of the riddle, if it happens.
And if it doesn't?
Well, then we've at least spent a few rounds at 4 o'clock doing something new for once.
Is there a part for each of us?
There seems to be more than one piece. Do you mind?
It's an excellent idea. I'll get the hats.
Well, if the wearing of hats is involved, I shall be delighted. And you?
Oh, so long as it's not a play about a mousetrap.
I believe we'll be safe on that account.
You may be strong.
Have you read it before, or are you just trying to sound cryptic?
The hats have arrived. The play can begin.
Took you long enough to start. I was beginning to wonder if we'd ever get to it at all.
Well, start it yourself if you're so clever.
Oh, it would be my pleasure. We begin on an uncharted island inhabited by Prospero, a powerful magician.
What do you know? A perfect fit.
Prospero's daughter, the beautiful Virgin Miranda.
Oh, you play her, of course.
Will I?
It's rather obvious. Oh, look at you.
And Ariel, an airy spirit under Prospero's command.
Oh, I don't think I have a hat for an airy spirit.
Oh, spirits don't go in for hats. They go in more for wings, I believe. And I am just the thing.
From different parts of the island, Prospero and Miranda both spot a ship at sea.
Oh.
Aboard that ship is Prospero's brother, Antonio.
Oh, an evil twin. A hat? Yeah, I'll play him too.
Alonso, Naples, and Ferdinand, his son, along with various counselors, jesters, and servants. Prospero then calls upon Ariel to summon a great sword to capsize the ship as Miranda watches from ashore. With those that I saw suffer, a brave vessel dashed all to pieces. Oh, the cry did knock against my very heart. Poor souls, they perished.
Lend thy hand and pluck my magic garment from me, so lie there, mine arms.
With magic garment, I'm the wizard.
Wipe now my eyes, have comfort.
But I called that part first.
Do you want to make her angry again?
The direful spectacle of the wreck, which touched the very virtue of compassion in thee I have, with such provision of my art so safely ordered, that there is no soul, no not so much perdition as a hair, but to any creature in the vessel, which thou heardst cry, which thou sawest sink. Sit down, for now thou must no further.
You have often begun to tell me what I am, but stopped and left me to a bootless inquisition, concluding stay, not yet.
The hour is now come.
And from there, he takes over 150 lines of poetry to tell a very simple story. So, trading time with mine, if we skim a bit.
Yes.
12 years since, Miranda, 12 years since thy father was the Duke of Milan and a prince of power.
But a duke that preferred studies to politics.
The government I cast upon my brother, and to my state whose stranger, being transported and wrapped in secret studies, all dedicated to closeness and the bettering of my mind.
And while Prospero had his nose in a book, his brother Antonio
He who next thyself all the world I loved.
got tired of handling all the responsibility without the power and title that go with it.
I did claim that part first after all, so.
And decides to overthrow his brother and take the dukedom for himself.
Mark his condition and the event, then tell me if this might be a brother.
But Prospero is still too popular for Antonio to kill outright, so he plots with the king of Naples.
An enemy to me inveterate.
He led the king's army through to kidnap Prospero and his infant daughter, to sell to the people as banishment, not murder, and set them adrift at sea on
A rotted carcass of a boat, not rigged nor tackle, sail nor mast. The very rats instinctively quit it.
Yeah, some rats should stop stealing parts. So.
Stop being sulky and start being the sea!
There they hoist us, to cry to the sea that roared to us, to sigh to the winds whose biting sighing back again in us but loving wrong.
Alas,
trouble was I been to you?
A cherubim thou wast that did preserve me. Thou didst smile, infused with the fortitude from heaven which raised in me against what should ensue.
How came we ashore?
By providence divine.
I pray you, sir, for still is meeting in my mind your reason for raising this sea storm.
Oh, this far forth, by accident most strange, bountiful fortune. Now, my dear lady, have mine enemies brought to this shore, and by my prescience I find my zenith doth depend upon a most auspicious star. Here, cease thy questions. Thou art inclined to sleep. 'Tis a good dullness, and give it way. I know thou canst not choose. Come away, my servant, come. I am ready now.
So, what does Miranda dream about?
Dreams.
Shoes.
Ships?
Ceiling wax.
Not sailing wax so much, but ships, definitely ships. It's the first time Miranda has seen one since she was a baby. There it goes, sailing across the surface of her mind, herald of another world, with precious cargo in its hold. Miranda can smell it, a bountiful crop of fresh cabbages, possibilities, the promise of something beyond what she's known, outside her tiny world of island trees and fruits and wild beasts, outside her towering father who is all and everyone, outside this stern monotonous sea that keeps her trapped there with him. As Miranda watches that ship glide through her subconscious, she does something entirely new. She begins to hope. Before this, she didn't know what to want. And even if she did, there was no way of getting it. But now there are ships, great big wooden things that sail across oceans. So she hopes carefully, trying it out. She hopes that this ship was sent to bring her to a life that's more than just surviving. And she thinks she's getting the knack of it. But then it dawns on her. To hope is to risk disappointment. She hadn't counted on that. The waters of her mind whip into a frenzy, toss the ship, capsize it, break it into pieces. Possible calamities pour down on her as plentiful as raindrops. Still, she holds on and hopes for calmer seas, sturdy ship planks, seasoned veterans in the rigging. It makes for difficult work, this believing in something that you've never experienced. But that's why I'm still here, isn't it?
I don't know. Do you mean Miranda you or you?
Is there a difference?
Approach my aerial come.
That's your cue.
Approach my aerial come.
What's going on? She's asleep and won't wake up.
I am ready now.
Oh, just give me the wings, I'll do it.
No, let me. You already have a part.
You are quite the spirit type.
And why not?
Well, you wear hats.
Come away, my servant, come.
You're still far too Miranda-like.
Oh, we don't have time.
Of course we do. He's right there.
Besides, I have the perfect thing.
I am ready now.
Definitely not a hat.
Go.
Approach my aerial come.
All hail, great master, great sir, hail. I come to answer thy best pleasure. Be it to fly, to swim, to dive into the fire, to ride on pro clouds, to thy strong bidding task, Ariel, and all her quality.
As the spirit performed to point the tempest that I bade thee.
To every article, I boarded the king's ship. Now on the beat, now in the waist, the deck, in every cabin, I flamed the basement. Sometime I divide and burn in many places. On the top mast, the yards, the spread. But I flame distinctly, then meet and joy.
That's what it felt like. 2 years old,
My brave spirit.
possessed of some unnameable quality that ignited the imaginations of others.
Then, all afire with me, the king's son Ferdinand was the first man that left.
Do you feel the power of Ariel?
Cried, hell is empty and all the devils are
As he made up stories for you on the spot.
Oh yes, I've missed it.
But are they Ariel's safe.
Not a hair perish on their sustaining garments, not blemished, but fresher than before. And, as thou bades me, in troops have I dispersed about the isle. In King's son have I landed by himself, his arms in this sad knot.
Ariel, the charge exactly is performed, but there's more work.
That's the trouble, isn't it?
Let me remember thee what thou hast promised, which is not yet performed me.
Hannah Moody, what does Southampton demand?
Once you become someone's inspiration,
My liberty.
Before the time be out, no more.
you don't get to decide when that inspiration ends.
I pray thee, remember I have done thee worthy service, told thee no lies, made thee no mistakings, served without or grudge or grumblings. Thou did promise to bade me a full year.
Hast thou forgot from what a torment I did free thee?
No.
Thou liest, malignant thing, hast thou forgot the foul witch Sycorax, who did confine thee in a cloven pine, within which writ imprisoned? Thou hast painfully remained a dozen years, where thou hast avenged thy groans as fast as mill wheel striking was my art. When I arrived and heard thee, did they gate the pine and let thee out?
I thank thee, master. I will be correspondent to command and do my spriting gently.
Do so, and after 2 days, I will discharge thee.
That's my noble master. What shall I do? Say what shall I do?
Go, hence with diligence.
And you're back on as Miranda. What?
Yeah, you were asleep, don't you remember?
No!
Come on. And sleep.
Away! Away! Thou hast slept well, away!
Can't wait the fourth time. This strangeness of your story put heaviness in me.
Shake it off, come on, we'll visit Caliban, my slave, who never yields us kind answer.
Have we given out the port of Caliban yet?
I don't think so. 'Tis a villain, sir, I do not love to look upon.
But as 'tis, we cannot miss him.
Good. I get a chance to play.
Fetch in our wood and serves in other offices that do profit us. What ho, slave Caliban?
Is this a good starting point?
Thou earth, thou speak.
There's wood enough with thee.
Who said
Come
that?
forth, there's other business for thee.
Yeah, business like taking my parts.
Thou tortoise, when? Thou poisonous slave, go by the devil himself upon thy wicked dam, come forth.
As we could do is hear my mother brush from ravens fed from unwholesome fin. Drop on you both, a southwest blow on ye, and blister you all around.
For this, be sure tonight thou shalt have cramps, side stitches that shall pent thy breath up, urchins shall, for the vast of night, that they may work all exercise on thee.
Yeah, and you'll deserve it too.
This island is mine, my cigarette, my mother, which thou takest from me. When thou camest first, thou strokest me and made much of me, and I loved thee and showed thee all the qualities of the isle. Oh, cursed be, I did that so. Now the charms of sycorax, birds, beetles, bats, like on you. For I am all the subjects that you have to first my own king. And now you sty me in this hard rock, and keep me from the rest of the isle.
Thou most lying slave! Whose stripes may move not kindness, I have used thee, filled as thou art, with human care. Lodged thee in mine own cell, till thou didst seek to violate the honor of my child.
What can it be? Thou didst revenge me and peopled out the fire with Caliban.
I pity thee. Took pains to make thee speak. Taught thee each hour one thing or other when thou didst not, savage, know thine own meaning. I endowed thy words with purposes and made them known.
Oh, you taught me language, and my craft on it is. I know to curse. Red blade rid you for teaching me your language.
Exceed hence! Fetch us in fuel and be quick, thou best to answer other offices. Shrugg'st thou, malice? If thou neglect'st, or does unwillingly what I command, I'll rack thee with old cramps, fill all thy bones with aches, make thee roar that beasts shall tremble at the dead.
No, pray thee, I shall obey. His arts of such power it would destroy my damn gods and abyss and make a fasten with me.
So, slave, hence.
That's an old world which you use for yourself.
Yeah, or to steal.
I happen to agree with many of the sentiments, don't you?
No.
You don't value freedom, then. That is what he's demanding.
Freedom to do what? What he tried to do to Miranda?
Oh, it's an easy way to justify enslavement, don't you think? The most effective magic trick in the play. Except this was written by Shakespeare, not Prospero. Or perhaps both. The jury's still out. What are you talking about? Context. The play was written for King James, who in previous decades tried hard and rather badly to colonize the West Indies. So Shakespeare wasn't just writing a flight of fancy. European aristocrats meeting strange people on a faraway island was the news of the current moment. One his great patrons were invested in.
What does any of that have to do with me?
It has to do with choices made by authors and actors. Parts they make room for, parts they don't. You skipped some of Miranda's lines in that last scene.
Well, we all skipped at least something.
It's a very long play.
Indeed. But this felt specific. What comes after Miranda's lines to Caliban about endowing his purposes with words?
Why are we going backwards? I want to go forward so that I can see it.
But thy vile race had that in which good natures could not abide to be with. Therefore was thou deservedly confined into this rock, who hadst deserved more than a prison. Whoa. Well, it didn't feel necessary to the plot.
Oh,
I
so it felt more comfortable to pretend that sweet, innocent Miranda doesn't think that way. And surely not Shakespeare, the immortal bard.
Well, what if it was?
Oh, then you're leaving Caliban confined. Not just in that rock, in this text. In the imagination of a writer who told the face of an empire exactly what he wanted to hear. These aren't people with agency. They're animals, and they must be controlled. Cutting the line that explicitly says that doesn't change the insidious intent behind its character. So, what does Caliban do now? Stuck in the role of a lustful savage, punished by slavery, having no way to realize his true desires, to finally perhaps understand them.
Yeah, but that's what Shakespeare wrote. I mean, she can't just change it.
She changed it by taking things out. She can't change it by adding things in.
I wouldn't know where to start. The world I'm from isn't much help when it comes to realizing my own desires. I have so many questions about bodies, what they do, how they feel. But the only answers I get are shocked faces, indignant that I knew enough to ask.
So, as civilized as you are, you know some small portion of Caliban's dilemma, having parts of him labeled as monstrous so that they can be controlled by others.
I'd rather not go into that.
And why not?
Because when I discuss passions and those sort of things, I dwell on it more, and there's nothing to be done about it.
What are they saying? I was asleep.
And if there were,
Where I'm from, there are penalties for even trying.
I was awake the whole time, and I don't.
and here,
In Wonderland. There are barely even friendships here. Things more intimate than that here in this place. It doesn't work.
and you are content to stay in the story you've been placed in. Caliban rages against such sentiment, refuses to settle for it. So tell me again why you don't do the same.
Just what are you getting at?
That you're not the only one the story feels too small for. That you may have more power over it than you think. Why? Look at him. You're starting to think amorous thoughts. He's becoming more attractive by the second. As charming as a prince, some might say. That is your type, isn't it?
Oh, good, he's ready to move on to the next part of the scene.
What?
Am I the only one interested in doing the play? Interfering! Invisible! Singing! Ferdinand! Following!
Come on to these yellow sails, and then take hands. Curtsy when you haven't kissed the white waves.
This music crept by me upon the waters, allaying both my fury and their passion with its sweet air. Thence have I followed it.
The fringed curtain of thine eye advance, and say what thou seest beyond.
Oh, I might call him a thing divine, for nothing natural I ever saw so noble.
It goes on as he is my soul prompts it.
Most sure, the goddess on whom these airs attend. Vouchsafe my prayer may know if you remain upon this island, and that you will some good instruction give how I may bear it here. My prime request, which I do last pronounce, is
Oh, you wonder if you be made or no.
Well, wonder, sir. That's certainly a maid.
My language? Heavens! I am the best of them that speak this speech where 'tis spoken.
The best. What were thou if the King of Naples heard thee?
A simple thing as I am now that wonders to hear thee speak of Naples. He does hear me, and that he does. I weep. Myself in Naples, who with mine eyes never since I have beheld the king my father. If a virgin and your affection not gone forth, I'll make you the queen of Naples.
They are both in either's powers, but this swift business I must uneasy make less the light winning, make the prize light. Thou dost here usurp the name thou owest not, and hast put thyself on this island as a spar to win it from me, the Lord on.
As I am a man. There's nothing ill can dwell in such a temple. An ill spirit house over there, perhaps. Good things will strike a blow with it.
Thou thinks there is no more such shapes as he, having seen but him in Caliban, foolish wench to the most of men. This is a Caliban, and they are angels.
My affections are then most humble. I have no ambition to see a goodlier man.
Come on, obey. I'll manacle thy neck and feet together.
I will resist such entertainment until my enemy has no path. Oh, my father, make not too much a trial of him, for he is gentle and not fearful.
Follow me. Thy nerves are in thy infancy again and have no vigor in them.
So they are. My spirits, as in a dream, are all bound up. My father's loss, the weakness which I feel, the wreck of all my friends, nor this man's threats to whom I am subdued are but light to me. Might I but through my prison once a day behold this maid, how corners else the of let liberty make use of. Space enough have I in such a prison.
It works. Come on.
That was just falling in love really hit that hard in real life.
I don't know, falling in love sounds dangerous. Is it very deep?
It depends on the person, I suppose. I often wonder if my own supply of it is in some small amount, or do I have a vast reservoir that's difficult to get at? All I know is that I've never felt what just happened inside of Miranda.
Not even for your own personal prince.
His name is Leopold, and it's not like that. It's an understanding. But you are right about one thing. The March Hare does look more and more like him.
What was that?
Oh, she said you remind her of a prince.
Oh, well, I was trying very hard to appear princely.
Yes, they're a mixture of tenderness and nobility, much like the one prince that I know. Granted, our conversations don't go quite like that.
How do they go?
Well, it's rather hard to describe.
Is it more like, oh, I don't know, shoot.
Thank you.
Go get it. It's my scene now. Goodbye.
Well, Alice, what luck to find you here.
Yes, more like that.
Might I ask a favor of you?
I don't have any objections.
Wonderful. Pretend like we're talking.
Are we not talking?
I mean having a serious conversation. One that it's best not to interrupt.
Ah, more unwelcome admirers off the starboard bow.
Just to your left, yes. Always the same questions. How's your family? Is your health improving? What's it like to be royalty? From everyone here. Except you.
Well, it's a fair trade. You never asked me what it's like to be Alice in Wonderland.
I may get around to it one day. But for now, there are far more interesting questions to ask. And you are one of the few here that supplies interesting answers.
Well, you're one of the few here who actually listens to me when I do.
Well, in that case, tell me, what's it like to be Alice in Oxford?
Well, that would require a real serious conversation, not just a pretend one.
I have the time for it if you do. And no small amount of people I'd like to avoid.
Very well. I guess it's a much different place than where you are at Oxford Institution, where you learn a set of facts and then they let you go after a few years. But I'm in Oxford, the town, which is a much more difficult place to escape from.
Is that the goal then, to escape?
Well, not the goal, but the first of many, I hope.
What makes you so eager to leave?
The same as you, I suppose. To not be labeled as the dean's daughter or that girl somebody wrote a book for once. Oxford has a particular idea of who I am and doesn't like to be contradicted. But I don't know what I'd be without them, if I were just defined by myself.
Isn't it strange how what people find most interesting about us are often the things we have the least control over?
Yes.
So, how do you plan to do it?
Do what?
Make your escape.
I'm afraid I haven't got that far.
Well, I wouldn't be too worried. From where I stand, it seems like you've gotten past the most dangerous part already.
What's that?
Believing that you are what they say you are.
Another part of the item. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, and Gonzalo. Alonso?
That's the king of Naples.
Oh, right, the Dormouse!
What?
You're playing the King of Naples. Remember? Blah, blah, blah. And I've been playing Antonio, the brother. No, I'm gonna take that away from you.
There's also Sebastian, the brother. And Mark has done quite well with people related to royalty, don't you think?
Yes!
And Gonzalo, the wise counsel.
Oh, I'll play him too.
But wouldn't you be playing two parts at once?
I've had 2 parts taken away from me.
Okay, is there anyone else?
Ariel, a bit later on.
Back to the wings and wait again. The scene had better be worth it.
Oh, beseech you, Lord, be merry, for we have cause. Our escape outweighs our loss, and our hint of woe is common. Every day some sailor's wife has just our theme of woe, except for the miracle. I mean, our preservation. Few and millions can speak like us. Therefore, good sir, weigh our comfort with our loss.
Prithee, peace.
He receives comfort like cold porridge.
The visitor will not give him all.
He's not my doublet, as fresh as the day I wore it, and of a sort.
The sword was well fished.
You cram these words into my ears against the stomach of my sense. My son is lost. Oh, mine heir of Naples, what strange fish hath made his meal on me?
Is this going to be the whole scene? 4 men arguing after surviving a shipwreck.
Had I a plantation on this isle, my lord, and were king upon it, what would I do? In the commonwealth, by contraries, I would execute all things. No traffic would I make, no name of magistrate or occupation.
There's something familiar here.
All men idle, all, and women too, but pure and innocent. In all things, my common nature should produce without sweat or endeavor.
A man started talking beautiful nonsense.
Felony, treason, sword, pike, knife, or use of any engine would I not have. Nature, of its own kind, would bring forth all poison, all abundance to feed my innocent people.
To distract us from the fact that we're all soaked to the bone.
I would with such perfection govern, sir, to excel the golden age.
And in a foul temper.
Rain, it just won't stop.
Prithee, no more, that costs nothing to me.
Our whole outing is ruined.
I do believe you, sir, and did so owing to minister occasion to these gentlemen,
We lost the others.
who are of such sensible and nimble lungs as to laugh at nothing.
Oh, I can't see anything in this downpour.
'Twas you we laughed at.
Well, sir, I am nothing in this fooling to you, and therefore you may continue to go on and laugh at nothing.
Alice, Lorena, quickly enter here.
Oh, there goes our picnic! And I'm so right through!
So am I. I'm soaked right through too. Aren't I, Mr. Dobson?
We all have our share of sogginess, Edith.
Will it rain all day, do you think?
It can't rain all day! I shall never feel dry again!
Me neither.
But you're all 3 such clever girls. Surely you must know the best and quickest way to dry off.
Sitting by a fire wrapped in blankets.
Not quite. The best way to get us dry would be a caucus race.
A what?
Oh, you've never heard of a caucus race?
A caucus is a sort of committee, isn't it? But I've never heard of racing in one.
Well, it's a much easier thing to do than to explain, but I shall try my best. First, you make out a race course in a circle. Or an oval if you like. The exact shape doesn't matter, so long as you all agree upon it.
And then everyone lines up at the starting line.
No, it would take far too long for everyone to decide on just one place to start. No, the party is placed all about the course. Some over here, and some over here, and a few in the middle. Wherever's convenient, really.
Well, so who shouts 1, 2, 3 and away?
No one, you can run it whatever you like.
Why did we all start at different places? How do we know who crosses the finish line first?
There is no finish line. You stop running when you are quite dry and ready to stop.
So how do you know who has won?
Everybody has won. And they must all have prizes, which I trust that you have brought with you.
Me?
Well, I certainly didn't bring them, Edith. No, Lorena.
I think I have a thimble in my apron pocket.
One thimble to split amongst the four of us? No, that will never do. Oh, I'm afraid we shan't have a caucus race after all. We'll just have to try off the next best way.
What's that?
Sitting by a fire wrapped in blankets, of course. Did you?
Yes!
Are you sure? Because I don't know that I recall.
It's your cue!
What? The actor is Ariel.
Oh, yeah, so I think come in and king and follow to sleep.
7 lines in and I'm already get a nap. This play is now bad.
What a strange drowsiness possesses them! Why doth it not then our eyelids sink? I find not myself disposed to sleep.
Nor I. My spirits are nimble. They drooped as if thunderstruck. One might worry, Sebastian. One might. No more yet. Methinks I see my face without should speak. The occasion speaks thee, my great imagination sees a crowd dropping upon your head.
What? Art thou waking?
More than is my custom, as you should be too, if you did heed me, which troubled the air, but how does thy content hinder thy good fortune?
I do remember you did supplant your brother Prospero.
True. Look how well my garments fit upon me now, much fitter than before.
The first act felt significant.
My brother's servants were then my fellows, now they are my men.
The dutiful daughter, the trap-spirited,
But
was
for your conscience.
personal somehow.
Where was that? 20 conscious twigs me in the line, candy be they, and melt everything the rest.
But this scene has nothing to do with me.
There lies your brother, no better than the earth that he is upon, if he with that which he's like, which is dead.
You're quite sure of that?
Which I could, with obedient steel, 3 inches of it, put to bed forever.
Do I look like a traitorous assassin to you?
Thy case, dear friend, shall be my precedent. As thou dost belong, I'll come by Naples! Not at the moment. Draw thy sword. One stroke shall free thee from the tribute which thou payest, and I, the king, shall love thee.
Draw together. When I raise my hand, you let the same fall upon Gonzalo.
But who knows what you could achieve by just applying yourself
Applied myself to murder.
to being free. Oh, but one word! So, is it Sebastian's fault that he was born second instead of first? Having no higher ambition than a political wife and playing lackey to a more powerful man?
But he consents to the killing of his own brother.
Oh, that is the prison he's confined in. Be the king's brother. He will never simply be himself. Oh. Imagine that! Being defined by someone else long before you have a say in the matter.
It gets exhausting being his Alice in Wonderland. A host of strangers all wanting something from me that I haven't had since I was 10. They demand to be enchanted, so the things I say severely are suddenly droll or, God forbid, whimsical. I mean, the words come out of my mouth, but the meaning, it's entirely out of my control.
The meaning gets out of everyone's control eventually. I mean, why, if the king's ship hadn't happened to sail by, then impressive Mr. Prospero would have nothing to do for the entire play. It wasn't until something outside of his control happened that he could put his power to any real use.
You're awfully lucid all of a sudden.
I had a really good nap. I slept like a king.
Speaking of Prospero, I have to go and do his bidding in this scene, so...
You have me?
Yes, Ariel seems to wake up the king and Gonzalo before their staff go.
She does. But what if you didn't?
What?
Trapped in the story, Ariel must do as she's told. But when brought to life by an actor, well, actors have a choice. Which is probably why writers dislike them so much.
So I can do more than just leave lines out. My Ariel had let the king and Gonzalo snore all the way to their death.
And then Prospero's plans would be ruined.
And?
And the play wouldn't go on like it's supposed to. It might not go on at all.
If you were looking for a moment where the meaning was in your control,
I could change what the entire play's about just by standing still.
If it's all the same to you, I'd rather not do a death scene today.
Confound everyone's expectations, all the words written about me.
I mean, all the stage blood would get all stuck in my fur to start.
Turn it all on its head just by doing nothing at all.
Have you tried getting that stuff out? It's a grooming nightmare.
Oh, the only reason I started this was because I thought it was a riddle. If I change it, will it be changing the answer to and into what?
so what shall it be?
Let us both be sudden.
If a life you keep a care, shake off slumber and beware. Awake, awake!
Why are you drawn? Wherefore this ghastly looking?
Whilst we stood here securing your repose, even now, we heard a hollow burst of bellowing like bulls, or lions rather. Didn't you hear it? It struck my ear most terribly.
I'll lead off this ground to make further search for my poor son.
Congratulations! You've spared the king. The scales of power won't swing, and we're stuck in the same old story as before.
I have to see this through till the end.
It's just what an obedient daughter and captive spirit would say. You are getting into character remarkably well.
I'm only playing them until I can know what you wanted the story to say.
What about what you wanted to say? Have you even thought about that?
I've only started it.
And what I don't understand is why you trust him to give you the time of day. After everything, after he abandoned
Well, that was more Mother's doing than his.
He could have said something before disappearing for an entire year. So why did you care? Why do you care what he has to say after 10 years of complete and utter silence?
Because the silence hurts. We had a language together, and no one else knew that I had long ago forgotten how to speak myself. And maybe it's weak of me, yes, but I want to hear it. I have to puzzle out the message that he's left for me.
That story about the caucus race, who is it for?
My sisters and I, to cheer us up.
At first. But then he put it in his book. Not even the one he gave to you at Christmas. The one he published. The one that made him famous.
Yes, but I...
And Ariel in the book. She has long blonde hair. And you're brunette. And as a child you kept it short. So, how can you be sure it was ever even about you at all?
I
avoiding it, trying not to look too closely at how it all happened. But the question, can you really be certain this was ever really about you at all? I have to know. So here I go again. Down, 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 deep into old memories, hoping for something to stand on. November 1862. I saw him in the dining hall while I was waiting for my father.
Alice, I didn't expect to see you this afternoon. Have some tea.
I don't think that I'm in the mood for tea.
A biscuit then?
What I really want is my story. It's been months since I asked you to write it down, and you still haven't done it.
Yes, that was quite neglectful of me, and it's certainly the time of year for it. November in England, all fog, mists, and bitter winds. I can't think of a better way to spend it than by staying indoors and writing down a tale from a pleasant summer's day. I should begin at once, perhaps even with pictures.
You can draw pictures?
Not especially, but I've always wanted to try.
Well, if there are pictures involved, it would be worth the wait.
How kind of you.
It's quite all right.
Well, then I shall be at it, if you will excuse me.
1860, 8 years old.
One more time then, Alice.
Well, we've already taken 4 photographs already.
The light wasn't quite right. It's better now. There's something about its composition.
Mother and father won't care if the light isn't quite right.
Yes, there we are.
Or care too much about the composition.
Yes.
And this photograph is for them, isn't it?
Head to your lap, perhaps. Oh, good. The print is for them, yes. But the process, the craft of each element is what the art and science and satisfaction of that is for me.
So, which is it then?
Give it to me.
No, you've got your own.
No, but it's all wrong for my character.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I do. And I'm an expert on hats. It's in my name, for heaven's sake.
What's going on?
We were casting for the next scene.
It's one.
It's not.
It's two.
Let go.
There seems to be some debate about the costuming.
Well, I'm playing Stefano the King's butler, and you're playing Trinculo the jester. Therefore, I should have the grander hat.
Well, they both look the same.
No, they do not.
This one is much fancier.
Yes, and therefore should be mine.
Enough of that. If you're going to act Shakespeare, you need to be civilized. Learn to act Shakespeare. What you'll get, and you'll like it. And you like it.
So, here's the one that you wanted.
Ah,
And here's the one that you wanted.
Why, so it is.
ah, it's a miracle.
How did you do that?
You know, I must say I find the theater rather invigorating. I can feel my own madness coming back to me.
The old madness?
Yes, I used to have my own particular kind of madness specific to me. But since we've been running around at tea time, I've been driven mad by the situation. Which is a trite and boring kind of madness. I find that acting really allows you to cultivate individual obsessions. Well, I really missed it. Oh, where were we?
Another part of the island. Enter Paladin with a burden of wood.
Well, let's hope he carries some meaning along with him this time.
Oh, the infections of the sun soaks up. From bogs, flax fin, on prosper fall, and make him by inch meal a disease. His spirits hear me, and yet I needs must curse. But they'll no pinch nor lead me like a firebrand in the dark out of my way unless you bid 'em. But for every trifle law they set upon me. No, no! Because the spirit is and the torments me from me, but in slowly. Oh, I fall flat. Perchance you will not mind me.
Aw, here was neither bush nor swamp to bear off any weather at all. And another storm brewing. Oh, should there be thunder?
I hear it sing in the wind.
I think that means yes.
Yon same black cloud, yon huge one cannot choose but fall by pale falls.
How do we make thunder exactly?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
What have we here? A man or a fish? Dead or alive? Oh, that is a fish. That is a very ancient and fish-like smell. Wait just
strange fish. Legs like a man, and fins like, arms. One moment, 12. I do now let loose my opinion. Hold it no longer. This is no fish. It must be an islander that hath lately suffered by a thunderbolt.
This is a scurvy tune to sing at a man's funeral. Oh well, here's my cure.
Not tormenting.
Oh! What's the matter? Do you have devils here? Oh, it's the monster of this island that has 4 legs and has like an owl. Oh, how came he to speak our language?
Do not torment me, prithee. I'll bring my good home faster.
If I could recover him and keep him and get him to Milan, he would be a present for any emperor that tread on meat's leather.
Thou knowst me yet little now. Thou wilt not, I know by the trembling thou prosperest upon thee.
Come on now. Open them up. This will give you language, cat. Open them up. You may not know who your friend is. Open your shop.
Stefano?
Just like another mouse speaks to me? Oh, mercy, mercy. This is a devil and not a monster.
Does this seem any more ridiculous?
I think it's gonna try.
Stefano, be not afeard, for I am Twinkulo, thy good friend Twinkulo.
I will pull thee by the lesser legs, because if any legs be Twinkulos, these are legs.
You'll have to explain what any of this means because I can't make heads or tails out of it.
Trinculo! How comes there to be the siege of this mooncat? Can he fit Trinculos?
Well, I took him to be killed by a thunderstroke, and then I hid me under the dead mooncat's gabardine for fear of the storm, and then I found you and you're alive, Stefano! Oh, Stefano, Neapolitan skate!
I'm wasting my time looking for clues that aren't there.
You could be watching me give the performance of a lifetime up here! Turn me not about. My stomach is not constant.
These fine things as if be not sprites. That is a great God, and bear celestial accord. I shall kneel to you.
Whoa, Stefano, hast any more of this?
A whole butt, man. My cellar being rocked by the seaside where my wine is hid. Oh, come now, monster. How is thy all good, which is like a fever? So,
Hast thou not dropped from heaven?
Oh, no. From the moon. For I was a man in the moon, and time was.
I have seen thee in her, and I do adore thee.
You chose this role for yourself.
Oh, by this good life, this is a very shallow monster. I approve of him.
You were quite impressive at first.
I shall show thee every first island into the island. I shall kiss thy foot. Oh, pretty be my God.
But now,
I shall show thee the best berries. I shall pluck thee berries.
Turn out to be simpleton.
I shall fish for thee. I shall bring thee wood enough.
taken in by a common drunk.
How dare you! I'm an excellent drunk!
Plague upon thy tyrant that I serve. I shall bear him no more sticks, and I shall follow thee, thou wondrous man.
Check it out. The king and all our men else drowned. We shall inherit here. Hey, everybody, we shall live by and by again.
But it's obvious these two are no match for Prospero. It's foolishness to think otherwise.
The hope of freedom can lead one to do all sorts of foolish things. Farewell, master! Farewell! Farewell! I made a choice. One of your roles was chosen for you and the other dropped in your lap. So what's better? To choose your own doom or settle for what's handed to you? Freedom! Hey, freedom!
Oh, great monster! Lead the way!
Fine. Go on and leave me with more riddles like everyone else does.
You might at least like the riddles you're left with better. Before Prospero Cell, enter Ferdinand, Barry, Log.
Enter with a frog?
A log?
A bog?
A log?
A log?
Yeah.
There be some sports are painful and their labor delighting them sets off. Some kinds of baseness are nobly undergone and most poor measures point to rich ends. This my mean task would seem as heavy to me as odious, but the mistress which I serve quickens what's dead and makes my labors pleasure.
Well, the mistress that you serve, what Prospero would force you to do, you willingly do for Miranda. So you dedicate your labor to her, just like that. Slavery becomes freedom, and pain becomes joy. And the things I dread the most be so transported by love. Let's not pray you. Work not so hard. With the French will we for having wearied you. If you'll sit down, I'll bear your logs a while. Pray, give me that. I'll carry it to the pile.
No, precious creature. I had rather crack my sinews, break my back, than you should such dishonor undergo while I sit lazy by.
It would become me as well as you, and I should do it with much more ease, for my goodwill is to it, and yours it is against it, and you look clearly.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, I have heard my father has to say so.
Admired Miranda, indeed the top of adoration, worth what's dearest to the world. Oh, for several virtues have I liked several women. Oh, you, so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
Oh my, it's gonna get romantic, isn't it?
I do not know one of my sex. How features are broad, I'm skilless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you. Nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my father's precepts I dare to forget.
You'll have to excuse me. Love seems to give me a queasy stomach.
Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service. There resides to make me slave to it, and for your sake am I this patient, loud man.
Is this what I've been missing? Someone to do it all for? Do you love me?
Oh heaven, oh earth, bear witness to this sound and ground what I profess with kind event if I speak true. Beyond all limit of what else in the world, do love, prize, honor you.
I am a fool to weep at what I am glad of.
Fair encounter of two most rare affections.
I am your wife. If you will marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow, you may deny me, but I'll be your servant, whether you will or no.
My mistress dearest, and I, thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
I, with the heart as willing as bondage ere of freedom. Here's my hand.
And with my heart in it. Now farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000, 2,000, 3,000.
Yes, that's it. That's the answer. Or the mushy bit's over. Love can transport everything. Well, take us to know that. And don't you see? All the commands I heard shouted at me. To be a good girl, behave like a proper lady. Impress the gentlemen. They were all hateful to me because they were demanded. But what if they were gifts to a lover instead? Why, I give them freely. Day after day, and be glad I did.
There's still a scene going on.
I cannot be who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more. Unto my book, for yet ere supper time must I perform much business appertaining.
Why did he have to? No! I felt what I felt. The life back home could be a paradise with the right person to give it to. It's that simple. And maybe the person to give it to, maybe that's simple too.
Alice, you don't know what it means for me to have found you.
Oh, perhaps I do. Your joints?
Yes.
Father said the winters were hard for you.
Thank you.
For what?
Actually discussing it. Everyone else here is so afraid to say something as though I don't know that I'm diseased. Instead, they just look. Eyes brimming with pity and English embarrassment. Hours, days full of that ghastly looking. Sometimes I just want to scream hemophilia in the middle of the dining hall and be done with it. Is it that hard to say, for God's sake?
Well, there is a good number of syllables to it, but it flows off the tongue rather trippingly. Hemophilia, poetic really, like the heroine of a pastoral romance.
Quoth the shepherd Arcite to his beloved hemophilia.
I'll certainly read it.
How do you do that? Transform things just by looking at them differently.
Do I haven't been trying.
Perhaps that's why it works.
Do you feel any differently when I look at you?
A little.
Is it something in my eyes that does it?
What isn't there, I think. There's no secret motives or hidden judgments. It's stunning how much room there is in your eyes. I feel as though I could throw every part of myself into them, and there would be room for each one to be understood.
Well, you can certainly try. They've been looking at Oxford for so long. I'm sure they're eager to see something new.
Something new? How about a prince who's afraid?
Afraid of what?
Everything. Dying, which the doctors say could happen at any moment. Living under my mother's thumb forever. Being seen as weak, but having to pretend that I'm strong. I'm afraid of all of it, Alice. I'm so tired, but there isn't any room for me to be. Instead, I have to carry on, play the man, when I would give anything to be free, to just be tired.
Well, there doesn't seem to be anybody about, so if that's what you need, then you're allowed.
This could be quite a promising situation if played correctly.
What?
He is now the person who is royalty and as such offers a unique opportunity for advancement for both you and your family.
What are you doing?
Find you an appealing suitor.
No, you can't be here. This is my moment.
So glad that this is there, I cannot be who are surprised withal. But my rejoicing at nothing can be more.
Oh, stop it! Oh, why do you have to go in and ruin everything? What? Why can you just leave well enough alone?
What? Holy what? Something!
Oh.
I missed. I'm literally a mouse, okay? People now? I know I'm not one to talk, but all this anthropomorphism's getting out of hand.
Love isn't the who, it's the what.
Oh, well, that's a consolation.
But is it enough?
Is what enough?
Is love enough?
Of what?
Consolation.
For who?
For me.
Oh! I don't know.
It felt so clear when I was Miranda. But Prospero created the whole situation what he wanted them to feel. So what is their love really? A transfiguring miracle or just some bait the adult world sets its traps with?
You make it sound like it can only be one of those things at a time. But perhaps it is the second precisely because it is also the first.
I think I liked you better when you were sleeping all the time.
Well, just because the thought is a present doesn't mean that you have to eat.
I'm sorry,
Shall we go on? Please, if I have to be awake, I'd like to be entertained.
another part of the island. Enter Caliban, Stefano, and Trinculo. These three characters again, I just as soon skip them if you don't mind.
I do mind. It's my only chance to dig into a character. It's not part of the play where I don't get acting whiplash the whole time.
But the last scene felt so pointless.
Well, it's a shame you feel that when you're in this one.
Tell me now when the bud is out. I'll drink water, but not a drop before.
Where's where?
And therefore bear up and hold them, sir and master.
See, enter Ariel invisible.
Servant master, the folly of this island.
Trinculo, keep a good tongue in your mouth. This monster's my servant, and I will not have him suffer deeply.
I thank my noble lord. Would thou be pleased to hearken once again to the suit I made to thee? As I told thee before, I am subject to a tyrant, a sorcerer, who by his cunning hath cheated me of the island.
Thou liest.
Oh, thou liest! Would my valiant master would destroy thee, I do not lie.
Trinculo, trouble not this monster's tail, or by this hand, I shall supplant you.
Why? I said nothing.
None and no more. Proceed.
I say by sorcery he got this isle. From me he got it. If thy greatness will revenge it on him, for I know thou darest, but this thing dare not.
Gonna be so combative? Can you get us to the party?
Yea, my lord, I shall yield him thee asleep. There thou mayest knock a nail into his head.
Thou liest. Thou canst not.
Trinculo! Interrupt this monster's tail one word more, and by this hand I will let my mercies out the door and make a stonefish of thee.
What did I? I did nothing. I'll go farther off.
Did that blue say he lies?
Thou liest.
Oh. Do I so? Take it to that! As thou likest, give me the lie again.
I did not give the lie out of your wits and healing too. A pox on your bottle and the devil take your fingers.
Why, as I told thee, 'tis a custom in the afternoon for him to sleep. There thou mayest bring him, having first seized his books. For without them, he is but a sot as I am, and hath not one spirit to command, for they all hate him as rootedly as I. Burn but his books, and most deeply do consider his daughter. He himself calls her a non-parallel.
She's a rebel ass.
Aye, my lord, and shall be that bed I ward, and bring me forward the grave.
Monster, I shall kill this man. And his daughter and myself shall be king and queen upon this island, save our prisoners. And Trinculo and myself shall be my viceroys. Trinculo, how does I like this plot?
Excellent.
Master.
Trinculo, come let us sing.
Okay. Scalp them.
Oh, it's more of the same.
This is the tune of our catch, played by the picture of nobody. Be not fear. The isle is full of noises, the sounds and sweet airs that bring delight and hurt not. Sometimes 1,000 winging instruments will hum about my ears, that if I wake after long sleep, will make me sleep again. But then, in dreaming, the clouds methought would open and show riches ready to fall upon me. That then if I waked, I cried to dream again.
Caliban's previous line was plotting rape and murder.
The sound is going off. Let's follow it and after do our work.
But what he hears in that music is so
Beautiful, Perhaps a glimpse at his true nature before the passing of his mother left him stranded. Before years of slavery to a tormenting spirit taught him hate. Perhaps when left to his own devices, he began to listen and imagine and became at peace with the island. Perhaps he will be again.
When?
When he is free.
And how do you expect that to happen? By following those two?
No, by following you.
What?
I know what you really want, and you can have it if you will just get rid of him.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, you're afraid of it, but you know. You want to stay here.
It's tempting, but I'm a woman now with a woman's desires, and Wonderland isn't built for that sort of thing.
So change it.
I can't.
You've already started. The rabbit grows more handsome with every passing moment. Did you think that was by coincidence? The story was started for you, and you have more power over it than you think, and you can take it back once and for all and make it whatever you like.
Thou liest!
Just abandon the world that I came from?
Oh, which world are you more likely to change? This one or that? Up there you'll only ever be Miranda.
Well, that's not so terrible. Miranda is in love.
In it, yes. She was placed there by her father. It does not belong to her. It is a consolation prize for wanting what she was supposed to.
Sometimes I feel like I don't even belong to myself.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh
Here
dear.
I love being used by someone. Back home, I'm a burden or a bartering tool. And here, I'm the symbol of childhood innocence to comfort everyone. I'm just so
What?
tired of men and their plots, of being useful. I've feared and prodded for so long, I don't know if I would even recognize me if I got to be me.
Another part of the island. Enter Alonso, Sebastian, Antonio, Gonzalo, and others.
Oh my lord, I can go no further. My old bone take. Here is a maze well trodden deep by far reaches and meanders.
What are you looking for?
By your patience, I needs must rest.
I want to know what happens to them. These important blind men, I want to know if they get what they deserve.
Oh Lord, I cannot blame thee, who am myself attached with weariness to the dulling of my spirits. Sit down and rest.
That's good.
Even here, I put off my hope and keep it no longer from my flatterer. He is lost whom thus we stray to find, and the sea mocks our frustrate search on land. Well, let him go.
I am right glad that he is so out of hope. Do not for one repulse forego the purpose that thou did resolve to effect.
The next advantage will we take thoroughly.
Let it be tonight.
Sebastian and Antonio will use the king's weariness and grief to their advantage. And the king would use Antonio's jealousy of Prospero to his advantage. It's all cruel manipulations that cry out for justice. But in this scene, they get a taste of it. Will you help me play it?
What harmony is this, my good friends?
Oh, marvelous, sweet music, yeah.
Give us time, please.
Your living drollery. Now will I believe in unicorns, that in Arabia there is but one tree, and the one phoenix at this hour reigning there.
I'll believe both. What else does one credit come to me and I'll be sworn 'tis true. For narrated, visitor lie that some fool back at home condemned him.
I cannot too much use such shape, such sound, such gesture, although they want the use of a tongue, a kind of excellent dumb discourse. Oh,
They vanish.
They have left their viands behind, for we have stomachs. Will it please you to taste of what is here?
I will, although my last, I fear the best is past.
You fools! I and my fellows are ministers of fate, but remember, for that is my business to you, that you three from Milan did supplant good Prospero, exposed unto the sea, which hath requited him and his innocent child, which the bounty, the powers, delaying, not forgetting, having since the seas, the shores,
misfits, I lead them.
Oh, monstrous! Methought the billows spoke and told me of it, and the winds did sing it to me, and the thunder, that deep and dreadful organ, but pronouncing the name Prosper, it did base my trespass. Therefore my son is ooze, is fed, and I will seek him there, deeper than sound plummeted, and lie with him there, mudded.
But one fiend at a time, I'll fight their legions o'er.
I'll be thy second.
Yeah!
They are all three desperate. And their great guilt, like a poison made to work a long time after, begins to quicken, bite the spirits. All after them quickly and hinder them from the ecstasy that might be provoked you.
That was the most fun I've had in quite some time. You did seem to be enjoying yourself.
Oh, to have all that power. Able to awaken the consciousness of men, force them to look their deeds squarely in the face, holding every wicked person accountable for their actions.
Ooh, I dare say you'd be very busy.
It'd be worth it.
Alice Little, righteous judge of all mankind.
It does have a certain ring to it.
And when will you deal with Prospero? He scripted that whole spectacle to torment his abusers to benefit from their pangs of guilt. If your mission is to rid of all men who use others' feelings for their own purposes, when will you deal with him?
You have to ruin everything, don't you?
Oh, Lewis Carroll. He took a story inspired by you to catapult him to fame and fortune. When will you take it back?
You want me to be one of them? A plotter, a trap setter?
I want us to be free, to be ourselves, to be at peace with the idol.
At peace with murder in our hearts?
Oh, he could have that world you don't want anymore. He could go on writing his dusty lectures on mathematics and taking his beloved photographs. Not murder, merely banishment.
I can't banish him from my memories. From that day on the river when it all began. He's there, in the boat, rowing three little girls wilting from the noonday sun. Uninterrupted blue above and below us. A clear, glistening world. But the heat is relentless. No trees in sight, so we take refuge in the shade of a haystack. Today would not be a good day for a caucus race. Tell us a story, I say. And Edith, who lives to repeat my every word, joins in with a cry. And Lorena pretends to be too old for that sort of thing, but she still leans forward in expectation. And he puts us off for a moment. But then there's that twinge in the corner of his mouth. And his long legs unfold across the grass. And the story begins to flow. And there's that rabbit with a pocket watch. And there's that hole in the ground. And I feel myself sink with the story underground. Where there's no heat, no sun, and no endless sky. Only the sound of his voice and the cool, cool earth. That is how I first came to Wonderland. Because a kind man wanted to keep me out of the sun, to take that world away from him, would murder that moment.
You're only remembering the parts you want to. It was he who took this world away from you.
Why?
He even said as much. That Christmas party in 1864, you were sulking in a corner, remember?
No, I'm sure
You had given up on ever coming to Wonderland again. When suddenly...
It was the pictures that took the longest. I can only hope that you still think them worth the wait.
You did it!
I said that it would.
Well, it's been over a year since we last spoke. I assumed you forgot.
Yes. Now that your sister is of an eligible age, it was decided that an unmarried gentleman escorting you
That's
ladies...
Serena's problem. It should have nothing to do with me.
Your mother did not see it that way, I'm afraid.
She always says that I'll understand when I'm older. But I'm certain I don't believe her. And I didn't believe in this, and Here it is.
I am sorry that it took so long. As I went, other ideas began to insert themselves.
It still begins as I remember it.
I showed it to pieces to some friends, and they seemed quite excited by it.
Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sisters on the bank and of having nothing to do.
So I went along a touch more carefully.
Yes, in this bit. But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket, looked at it, then hurried on, Alice started to her feet.
Yeah, Mr. McDonald seemed particularly pleased because I should publish it.
For it flashed across her mind that she had never before seen a rabbit with either a waistcoat pocket or watch to take out of it.
He read that portion to his son Granville, who was most enthusiastic.
And full of curiosity, she hurried across the field after it.
Seems I may have written for a larger audience than I first thought.
It was just in time to see it pop down a large rabbit hole under the hedge. In a moment, down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again.
You asked him to write this world down for you so you could keep it.
And he gave it away.
To everyone.
It's our moment. Ours.
But fame and fortune called.
He answered.
So who deserves Wonderland more, do you think?
Depends. How would I get it?
You'd stop being Ariel and start being someone else.
I always pose choices, but I never like any of the options.
Did you ever think that maybe the real dilemma is not what you should choose, but why you are so intent on choosing in the first place?
I don't follow.
You can't while I'm just standing here.
Well, then go on with what you were saying.
Well, your mother and sisters don't seem to be in such turmoil about their place in the world. Your friends, either. They're able to accept what is there. So I'm just wondering why you don't.
I really don't know.
Well, then perhaps that is what you need to figure out. There is something to be said for acceptance, you know. This whole eternally being stuck at tea time thing is driving the Mad Hatter even madder than usual. He keeps thinking of the way things were, but I like to think of them how they are, which isn't so bad when you look at it. I mean, the supplies never seem to run out for one thing, and there's very little work involved, and I wake up each day knowing exactly what to expect and what is expected of me. It's quite relaxing when you get the hang of it.
And it doesn't bother you that Miranda and Ferdinand are just set up by Prospero because of what he stands to gain?
Not particularly. Their reasons for being in love are pure. I don't see how Prospero's motives have any bearing on them.
Oh, that is because you have no ambition. Content to take whatever life hands to you.
Thank you.
That is not a compliment.
But if I receive it as one, there's nothing you can do about.
I can walk away in disgust, leaving you to your dreary little life.
I certainly wouldn't complain.
Oh, people like you seldom do.
Where were we?
Before Prospero's cell. If I am to austerely punish you, your compensation makes amends. For I have given you here a third of mine own life, but that for which I live, who once again I tender to thy hand. All my vexations have been but trials of thy love, and thou hast strangely stood the test. Here before heaven, I ratify this, my rich gift. Well, sit then and talk with her. She's thine.
Am I yours? Are you mine?
I suppose so.
Well, it certainly didn't sound that way. All the talk of Miranda being some gift for Ferdinand passing some test. Meanwhile, she doesn't say a thing.
Well, perhaps that's how she gets what she wants.
Ariel, what Ariel, my industrious servant?
Oh, it's me. What would I put, master? Here I am.
Thou and thy meaner fellows, your last service did worthily perform, and I must use you in such another trick. For now I must bestow upon the eyes of this young couple some vanity of my art. No tongues. All eyes will be silent. Hail, many-colored messenger that dared disobey the wife of Jupiter, who with thy gossamer wings upon my flowers diffuses drops, refreshing showers. Who are you?
I hardly know, sir, just at present. At least I know who I was when I got up this morning, but I must have been changed several times since then.
What do you mean? Explain yourself.
Well, I can't explain myself, sir, I'm afraid. Because you see, I'm not myself.
I don't see.
Well, right now I'm Miranda, and before that I was Ariel. For a brief moment I was even Gonzalo. To be so many people in one day, it's very confusing.
It isn't.
Well, you may feel differently, but all I know is that it feels odd to me.
And who are you?
I'm a woman. I'm a daughter. I'm the inspiration for a very popular children's book. Why don't any of those sound like the answers to the question?
Are you content?
Oh, what you mean? Miranda is content because she's conveniently fallen in love with the first man she's ever seen. And Ariel is not content with servitude, but is making the best of it and hopes to be free one day. And me, I'm not content with the life that waits me back home, but I don't know why. Was the March Hare right? Is finding that out the answer to the riddle?
One side will make you grow, the other side will stay the same.
One side of what? The other side of what?
How does my bounteous sister? Go with me, lest the swain smith may prosperous be and honored in their issue.
Our issue?
This is a most majestic vision and harmonious charmingly. May I be bold to think these spirits?
Spirits which by mine art I have from their confines called to enact my present fancy.
Let him live here ever, so rare a wondered father, and a wife makes this place a paradise.
Oh, it's not as nice as it might seem.
Sweet, now silence, Juno and Ceres whisper seriously. There's something else to do. Hush and be mute, or else our spell is marred.
Well, if I'm really to be his wife.
Oh, what right have you to call yourself so? You can't be a wife, you know, until you pass the proper examination, and the sooner we begin it, the better.
Well, I'm sure I didn't mean to.
Oh, that's just what I complain of. You should have meant. What do you suppose is the use of a woman without any meaning? Even a joke has a meaning, and a woman's more important than a joke, I hope. You couldn't deny that even if you tried with both hands.
I don't deny things with my hands.
Nobody said you did. I said you couldn't if you tried.
Let me do addition. What's one and 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 one?
I don't know, I lost count.
She can't do addition. Can you do subtraction? Take a man's proposal from a man. What remains?
Our lives together?
Wrong! In a marriage, you become one flesh, living one single life is split between you. She can't do sounds of bitch. Can you do languages? What's French for fiddle-dee-dee?
There is no French for fiddle-dee-dee. It's just nonsense, which is all you've been talking.
Oh, let's not quarrel. What's the cause of lightning?
What's the cause of these questions? Or their purpose?
One should not ask questions when being examined, one only answers.
Because you don't know, do you? All these rules make as much sense to you as they do to me. So why do you keep repeating them?
Do you know your ABCs?
Do you do division? Divide a loaf by a knife. What's the answer to that?
Try another subtraction sum. Take 9 from 8.
No, stop it. I can't stand it any longer.
No, I forgot the foul conspiracy of the beast Caliban and his confederates against my life. The minute of their plot is almost come. Well done. Avoid no more.
This is strange. Your father's in some passion that works him strongly.
Never saw I am touched with anger so distempered.
You do look, my son, in a movement so as if you were dismayed. Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended.
And I think I began to see.
These are actors, as I foretold, were spirits,
The characters you created,
and are melted into air,
they taught me something.
into thin air.
Did you mean for them to, or was it by accident?
And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces,
What adults call society.
solemn temples, the great globe itself,
All their precious codes of conduct.
yea, all which it inherit shall dissolve.
They make no more sense than the ones in Wonderland.
Like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind.
Have no more power over me than what I allow them to.
We
They
are
are such stuff as dreams are made on.
and our little life is rounded with a sleep.
Their version of life was too small for you,
Sir, I am vexed.
so you tried to shrink down to fit in it.
Bear with my weakness.
But your imagination grew and grew,
My brain is troubled.
and you saw the absurdity of the world around you, and it came out in your writing.
Be not disturbed with my infirmity.
Did you realize that I would see it too?
If you be pleased, retire to my cell and there repose. A turn or two I'll walk to still my beating mind.
We wish you peace.
Come with the thought, I think the era will come. We must prepare to meet with Caliban and say again, so leave these varlets.
In the filthy mandel pool beyond yourself.
You'll charge my goblins and grind their joints with dry convulsions, shorten the sinews with age and cracks.
Hark! They roar!
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour lay at my mercy all mine enemies. Surely shall all my labors end, and thou shalt have the air of freedom. For let a follow and do me service.
What an unconvincing performance. Call it a fierce sorcerer. I'd have been so fierce, so mysterious, the audience would have quaked in their boots. Let them be haunted soundly!
I'm trying to figure out what any of this means, and I can't hear myself think.
Well, if I moved it any quieter, I'd be as lackluster as that performance we just saw.
You are quite Prospero. Just be done with it.
Well, yeah, but I called that part first, and I just think that...
You think that you were the only one who's disappointed? That I asked to be someone's spirit of inspiration? Up there, they all call me a muse. As if that is the highest honor a woman can ever aspire to. But tell me, is it an honor to be candle wax? A log on the fireplace, because that's all I've been. Fuel for the light and heat of someone else's imagination. And all I want is just one sliver of power for myself to take control of my life or change. And you keep talking of unconvincing performances. Well, that's all I've been giving since I was 12, and I don't know how to stop.
Pray you tread softly. Let not a blind mole hear a footfall. We are now near his cell. What? Caliban's first line in the next scene. But I have some choice in this too, and I refuse to play.
Why is everyone so intent on skipping my parts?
His plans fail because his compatriots become distracted. I think we can do better, don't you?
Caliban's plans are doomed from the beginning because Prospero knows about them the whole time.
Then why was Prospero so disturbed when he realized he had forgotten about them?
Another in a long line of miscalculated performance moments.
Because he knew he had a weakness.
I could have given that speech better too.
During that show he put on for his daughter, he forgot the world around him. Lost in his own fancies brought to life.
The same fault that lost him Milan to begin with.
The same faults in the character.
Isn't the man playing him?
It's because of him you're in this dilemma in the first place, isn't it?
His books open my eyes to the world up there. That's why I don't fit in. Why I can't just go along with everyone else.
He destroyed an entire reality for you.
Yes. What should I do?
In the next scene, he will take off his cloak, the one made from the pages of his book, then lay down his staff as he asks Ariel to dress him in the robes of his dukedom. Take the staff and cloak for yourself. Then you will have the power to do whatever you like.
Now does my project gather to a head. My charms crack not, my spirits obey, and time goes upright for this carriage. How's the day? How fares the king and his followers?
Your charm so strongly works them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
The south is so spirit.
Mine would, sir, were I human.
I shall. Shalt thou, which art but air, a touch, a feeling of their affliction? And shall myself, one of their kind, who readily show as sharply passion as they, be kindlier moved than thou art? Though with their high wrongs I am struck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason gainst my fury do I take part. The rarer actions in virtue than in vengeance, they being penitent, the sole drift of my purpose does extend me. Whereof the you not bites, and you, whose pastime is to make midnight mushrooms that rejoice to hear the midnight curfew. By whose aid, weak masters though ye be, I have bedimmed the noontide sun, called forth the mutinous winds, and twixt the green sea and the azure vault, set roaring war.
Power.
To the dread rattling thunder of a given fire.
To taste it for myself.
Braves at my command waked their sleepers, hoped to let them forth by my so potent art.
Would it be worth?
This rough magic I here endure.
What? You're rejecting it?
And when I have received some heavenly music, which even now I do to work mine end upon the senses that this airy charm is for, I'll break my staff.
You give all of this up, all of this control.
Bury it certain fathoms in the earth,
Prospero beside this.
and deeper than did ever plummet sound, I'll drown my book.
When did you decide that?
Ariel, I will discase me, and myself present, as I was sometime long. Quickly, spirit, thou shalt ere long be free.
Do that good mischief, which will make this island unknown forever.
Where the bees sucks their sunlight, and the cow sips the lilac.
Wait, what's that?
Just the song Ariel sings as she helps dress them. Supposed to be in a powerful trance, but she gets her parts mixed up. Now, go on.
After some merrily, 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 merrily,
Merrily, merrily, merrily, merrily,
merrily, merrily, merrily, merrily,
merrily, merrily, merrily, merrily,
merrily, merrily, merrily, merrily,
merrily, merrily,
merrily, merrily shall I live now. Under the blossom that hangs on the bough.
Alone, thou fool, it is but trash.
Shall I live now.
All you have to do is put on the
Under
cloak.
the blossom that hangs on the bough. Merrily,
Do it.
merrily shall I live now.
Do it!
merrily, merrily.
Stop! Go back!
What are you doing?
Miranda wants what she's supposed to want. I can't be her. The magic of this story has already done its work in me. Caliban wants to overthrow his control by force. You keep telling me that's the only way to not be Miranda. But we're both forgetting someone. Tell me, what made Prospero go from this?
Let them be hunted soundly. At this hour lay on my mercy all mine enemies.
To this.
The rarer action than virtue than vengeance.
It was Ariel. The moment itself was small. I said the lines but still didn't catch it. She says, if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender.
Dost thou think so, spirit?
Mine would, sir. We're a human.
And mine shall.
She reminds him to be human. It's then that Prospero decides to be kind, not before. Ferdinand doesn't even know that his father is alive. Prospero could bring the prince and his daughter to the ships that he preserved. He could sail away, reclaim his power, watch his daughter become queen, all while leaving his enemies the same cruel fate they designed for him. It might even be justice, but Ariel has a say in the spell, and she wants their work to add up to an act of grace. She pushes him towards mercy because she understands that these wonders we performed aren't about us at all. Perhaps you used me without knowing it. Took something from me I didn't know that I was giving. But seeing you so tall and out of place in those robes, I think you needed this story more than I did. So, if it is a mercy to you, if it helps others to see with new eyes now and always, if that's the magic that we've done together, then I accept it. Promise me mercy and journeys to new worlds, and I'll play Ariel one last time. And so, Prospero releases him from the spell.
Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero.
The afflictions of my mind and with which I fear madness help me.
Prospero is reconciled with Alonso.
Thy dukedom I do as I do entreat thee, pardon me my wrongs.
and even to the men who plotted so much harm.
For you, most wicked sir, whose your brother would even infect my mouth, I do forgive my rankest fault. All of them.
Prospero reunites Alonso with his son Ferdinand.
Most high miracle.
And Miranda begins to see just how much might lay beyond her tiny island. How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is! Oh, brave new world that has such people in it!
'Tis new to thee.
Who is this maid with whom thou was at play? Is she a goddess that hath severed us and brought us thus together?
Sir, she is mortal, but by immortal providence, she's
I heard.
And this is where I stop playing Miranda and do some reckoning of my own. All right, Father, I'm ready to have that serious conversation. You said that my decisions bear more weight than they did before.
That's right.
So then I need more information in order to make them. I'm so jealous that Miranda gets to see more of this brave new world than I have. But I won't yoke myself to one way of living like she does.
That is a reasonable argument. Perhaps we happen to narrow in the experiences offered to you. A year or two abroad is not unheard of a young lady of our class. I could arrange it, though your mother will not like it.
I can handle that. You did say being an adult means accepting responsibility. And now I know my responsibility to you is not of a wife, but of a friend.
Yes. Isn't it strange how much bigger people think the former is compared to the latter?
I know what we have, and I don't care what others want me to want. And so, the king and his company discovered that their ships were not wrecked, but miraculously preserved.
Oh, this is as strange a maid as ever man trod.
Prospero commands Ariel to release Caliban and his companions from her torments.
There are yet missing of your company some few odd lads you may remember not. These three have robbed me. Two of these fellows you must know and own. This thing of darkness, I acknowledge mine. Go seer it to my cell, take with you your companions as you look to have my pardon. Trim it handsomely.
Aye, that I will, and I'll be wise hereafter and seek for grace. What a thrice double ass was I to take this drunkard for a god and worship this dull fool.
Go to, away.
Not yet. There is a darkness in this play, but it's not in Caliban. It's in Prospero. It's in Miranda. It's in the way that I just accepted their narrative at face value rather than to risk discomfort. That darkness, I acknowledge mine. It was your voice that pulled me to this spot. All of your frightening, incessant questions that you wouldn't let me look away from. I see now. Thank you.
And yet you didn't follow through with the plan.
Because I saw a way for us both to have the freedom that we craved without hurting anyone. Everything that Prospero does is a step towards Milan. And Caliban just wants to be free and left alone where he was born.
So if Prospero gets what he wants, so does Caliban. And for the two of us.
That part about breaking his staff and drowning his books, I don't think that was just Prospero talking. I think Lewis Carroll is moving on from this story too.
Now we have more room to grow beyond them.
And speaking of, would you like to give Caliban one last word, unconfined?
Now with the island I shall be at peace. I'll be no duke, not even mine own king. For you have shown me the dear cost of both. I shall no longer claim this isle as mine. I've heard it sing, and I know its desires. We want to be cherished, not possessed. And with that secret knowledge, we shall weave far stronger spells than those found in books.
Sir, I invite your highness and your train to my poor cell. You shall take your rest for this one night, and in the morn I'll bring you to your ships and so to Naples, where I have hoped to see the nuptial of these our dear beloved solemnized. And from thence retirement to my lawn record, that thought to be my grave.
So, that's the Tempest.
Did you like it? Much more satisfying conclusion. All's well, all's well.
Miranda goes off without the slightest idea of the world that she's walking into or the role that she's already trapped in.
Yes!
I don't know whether to envy or pity her.
Why's that?
Because of her stories. They open my eyes, and sometimes that's lovely, but sometimes it's...
Sometimes it's a pain to center your chest.
Yes. Because it hurts to be the only one to feel the absurdity of what everyone else thinks is so important. And it hurts to be Miranda without being blissfully and naively in love. All those ridiculous expectations.
What do you do?
I'm still working on that part. But there was something about the way that Prospero showed mercy in that last scene. Not like he was doing it out of his Christian duty or to make himself feel better. It was like he was...
Still doing magic?
Yes. Forgiveness as a ritual. To show people a grander form of power in hopes that it proves contagious.
Do you forgive me
For what?
for creating another ridiculous expectation that people have of you?
You did in trying the 10-year-old version of me inside everyone's mind. But you also told me a very good story on a very hot day. And you wrote it down when I asked you to. It's a magic book, much like Prospero's. It shows people things, make them grow bigger. And I'm a part of that.
Still to live in the shadow of someone else's creation. I don't envy you the added burden. How hard it must make it for you to forge your own path from here, which brings us to the very end of the Tempest, and what I really wanted to say to you.
There's more.
Only 2 sentences. But they're very hard for Prospero to say. If he hadn't found Ariel, hadn't learned to harness her magic into words, he may not have survived on that hostile shore. He certainly would not have been able to write so happy an end to the tale. He owes her so much. He knows it, but his affections make the words stick in his throat. 2 sentences, it's all it takes to let her be herself, not what others wish her to be, not what he needs her to be, just her own. Well, they must be spoken. My Ariel chick, that is thy charge. Then to the elements be free, and fare thou well.
Well, that was diverting. Did you learn anything?
Of course not, so they can't be diverting in education. All sorts of people that you don't talk to because they're not interesting to talk to.
Oh, that checks out. At any rate, it was quite a pleasant way to spend part of an infinite afternoon. Although I'm sorry you didn't find the answer to your riddle.
What riddle?
How was a hot pipe a handsaw?
Is that a riddle?
I don't know, you're the one that asked it.
Did I? Well, what's the answer?
Do you want more tea?
A hawk flies against the wind, a handsaw flies against the grain. Both cut against something on their way to something new.
Did you know that this whole time?
What? Wait, what's that? Oh, it's 4:03 counting. Do you know what that means?
It means supper! Dessert! Late night snacks! Anything finally! Dishes, when you look at them, well, they're so very dirty. Plum pudding!
Steak tata.
Bagel bites!
Lots of new
Cigars!
and nightcaps.
Now my charms are all overthrown, and what strength I have is mine own, which is not so faint as Shakespeare might think. This much he wrote is true, that I must be here confined by you, or live my own life. Let me not, since I have my freedom got, but pardon the deceivers dwell in wonderland now by your spell. But release me from my bands with the help of your good hands, to travel the world and find my own way and frame of mind. Growing strong, content to wait till the age of 28, to enter wedding season with love as my only reason. A crooked player, quite adept, proposes to me, I accept. That dear boy shall stand by me till death's final liberty. Our romance, once it's begun, gives birth to 3 gallant sons. Times of peace are soon undone. War takes 2, I'm left with 1. Whose marriage I forbid outright. Defying me brings him delight. I'll come round eventually, just proves he takes after me. So I'll shoulder all the weight of managing a large estate, a host of broad society, but don't stand on propriety. I won't be stopped by idle fears. I travel far in twilight years, 82 full years of life, more than woman, mother, wife. This I'll be, if you allow me to grow past 11 now, to shed my past for something new, which I hope you all shall do. As you from crimes would pardoned be, let your indulgence set me free.